at the time I was 220 pounds.
Right.
I mean,
and that guy's kicking you.
He's kicking me. Well, I'm sending me a good like 2-3 feet back.
What was it like working with Jet Li? Because it's
Jet Li was cool. You know what? 'Cause, like, I worked as a bouncer for like 17 years. So like almost like 80% of everything you're learning in martial arts is out the window.
Yes, Kung Fu Chronicles, baby. Okay, we are rounding off the year with another great interview. Someone I know you guys are going to feel. Stunt coordinator, director, and more, Mr. Brett Chan. Before we get at it, though, do me the favor, drop a little like down below. Let me know we're making content that you enjoy, so of course we can make more of that. And also show some love in the comments and let me know what other martial arts content you guys are into. And trust me, you want to hang out to the end of the video so you can get more info on Brett and his upcoming projects. Let's go. Because I've got someone who's not only a martial artist, knows many styles. We're going to talk about that. An instructor, so much more. But the main thing, he's one of the biggest stunt coordinators and fight choreographers. Projects like the people will be familiar with: Halo, CW's reboot of Kung Fu. Of course, you're the founder of Hits International, the professional stunt organization, and one of the stunt choreographers on my favorite show of all time, Warrior, Mr. Brett Chan. How are you, sir?
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Man, we're going to talk about your journey from martial artist to stuntman to director, but I definitely want to get things started with just, getting the audience up to speed with how you got started initially in the martial arts.
My dad basically put me into it. I was like 5? No, I was 7. 7? Yeah, in the Philippines. We started off as doing some Kung Fu. I know Kung Fu. When he put me into it first. It's because when I was born in Canada, Toronto, but we moved to the Philippines when I was 6. But I got into fights all the time. I was getting picked on all the time because, I was a lot whiter than most of the kids there. So in the schools, and I didn't speak the language, obviously not yet. And so I got picked on and got in fights all the time. So he put me in a Kung Fu class, and I was doing that for a little while, and then we switched over to Shotokan Karate.
Okay.
But that was just for the last 2 years I was there, and then before we moved back to Canada. And then we moved back to Canada, and he put me in a Shitoryu class, which is all the Japanese base, because I guess Japanese was really big back then before Taekwondo started taking over, the commercialized level of it all.
Right.
And then I just jumped back in the season in the middle of the school year in my cousin's class, and I was getting to fights all the time because. Now there's more Asians, but I talk like this. And so they're making fun of me at that point, and it just became issues. So, my dad just made sure I stayed in martial arts all the time. Okay.
So out of all the martial arts that you've taken, do you have a particular favorite? Because you're a Shotokan guy mainly, right?
Yeah, Shotokan, Shitoryu, Taekwondo, Muay Thai, some Eskrima, Sarni, a lot of Krav.
Yeah.
The last little bit, I was just training with TKDD. I went to Korea. I train with Master Lee and Jisuk over there, and they do a lot of special forces, hand-to-hand stuff that he kind of developed. He teaches the special forces for South Korea, I think Mexico, Philippines, and Vietnam. It's a really cool system. It's a lot of these systems are like Krav. They're very basically all realistic backgrounds, and they're all basically they're in a compilation of different things.
Right.
And I was just training on Sammy X with Peter Veckhoff in Austria, which I really loved.
Wow.
He does all the special forces for Australian special forces, but he does a lot of prison guard stuff.
Okay.
And the maximum security prison guards, I mean, they have to be. It's very volatile in there, so it's reactive and it's brutal. So those are a lot of things I've been training mostly of, as of late at least.
Got you. Yeah, it's interesting. I have a background in not only Kung Fu, but I also been doing Krav Maga. It's interesting that you mentioned that for the last 6 years. And it's more because it's very, very practical, right? So I found in my just everyday life, I love Kung Fu Foundation, but the Krav Maga was just, it's very practical for me. Just weapon defense, things like that we never addressed in traditional martial arts. Have you kind of found that the same as you come along?
Yeah, I mean, it's an art. It's martial art. So they teach you the art of it all and the discipline of it all. But then once you get to certain levels and stuff like that, they start teaching the practical application of everything. And that's where everything comes real. But you're completely right, because a lot of times guys would take martial arts and they just don't know how to transition, or they don't, they'll go to school. Yeah, I'm a black belt, this, but they've never learned that transition point of like real life scenarios as opposed to the art. MMA is a good portion where it kind of gives you the real life scenario. So once you're thrown into it, you can this is what you're doing. This is what you can do it. It's like real life scenario stuff, which is great. But I just feel like I like the art aspect of it all.
Right.
When you start learning, but when you're doing Krav, let's say like as my instructor, he's actually a Romanian guy. His name is Lorian Lapadatu, and he came up with this system called Commando Krav Force.
Let's party.
And because there was some political thing with somebody in Canada, they basically patented the rights to the name Krav Maga, so no one could call their martial arts Krav Maga. It got really political.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, martial arts and politics, man. That's a whole other conversation.
Holy crap.
That's politics.
It's want to learn. It's want to learn how to punch someone's face and kick and defend.
Right.
Right? And have fun doing it. But you can definitely see the Krav was basically taught for the masses, for the military masses, for people.
Right.
Which are executable by really anybody who's been training it. But when you have a martial artist who's then doing Krav, you can definitely see the streamline of techniques much more differently. I find I can just see it just looks more visceral, and I love it. But you take something like Sammy X, in Vienna. Now his school teaches a whole wide range of things, and they basically hybridize it all. So from Krav Maga to Panatukan to a lot of knife, a lot of screamo, a lot of sticks, some hatchets and tomahawks. And then they just incorporated any, little shield work and stuff like that, and guns and gun disarms and gun movements and best way to move in a scenario. Because, someone with a knife who's only let's say 10 feet away, 12 feet away, can get to a police officer and stab him before he can actually pull his gun out.
Yeah.
So the execution of how to maneuver when you're pulling your gun out, all these things. And Peter Beckhoff is fantastic. And the TKDD guys, Pastor Lee is phenomenal. You just see these guys, they're just, the things they do, they move. A lot of their knife defense system isn't based off of drills. It's based off of instinct, and they teach you instinctual movement. So it was just, it was fun going over there and getting beaten up by them.
Right. It's funny. It's almost like masochistic to say, right? But it's so true. It's like so I have a few friends too, you'll probably appreciate it, who do Dog Brothers. So they really get into the thick of it, and you're just like weapon fighting and all this. It's like, hey, it's like you really, won't know until, I always say feeling is believing. So until you really feel in those situations, that's when you're able to really start getting the reps in and knowing how to work. It's like one thing to simulate in the dojo and the school, but it's like when you're out there and people are really going like almost 100%. It's a different feel.
Well, because I worked door as a bouncer for 17 years. So, I mean, almost 80% of everything you're learning in martial arts is out the window.
Right.
You're getting rushed by 3 guys. They have this guy's bottles. If you go on the ground, I had some buddies that were just complete avid jiu-jitsu guys, which is great. Jiu-jitsu's, great for jiu-jitsu. However, the first thing was grab him down, pull him to the ground, starts, get on his back. Next thing you know, his 2 buddies are stomping on his head. And now, so you practice what you want to do, but because of habit, you'll do it in real life situations. And
yes.
Which is kind of, if I had a knife, you'd have been dead.
Yeah. It's a crazy kind of training scar, and it's not to get too off the beaten path, but last night we were actually training some knife stuff on the ground, and one of our guys who's been doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, just like you said, we're on the ground, he's on there trying to keep the guy on the ground, dude, get up. It's like if this were real, he'd still be, he doesn't have the knife anymore, but why are you still on the ground? He's like, yeah, you're right. So
yeah. I mean, every art has its specialty. I mean, you don't want to get close with somebody that jits you're screwed.
So really quick, when you were young, I know you did a lot of martial arts. You said your dad really kept you in it. Did you do the tournament circuit at all, or was that your thing? Yeah.
I mean, it was tournament circuit I went open circuit tournaments for a while, which was a broad base of martial arts. Everyone just kind of joins and we do competition for whatever. I never really, understood how they graded, like, let's say, the kata versions, because the instructors that are sitting there watching you grading, they don't know what technique you're doing. They don't necessarily know, a lot of the times they're all open styles. So there's kung fu guys, there's like this guy, these guys, but taekwondo guys, and you're doing kata. How are these judges going to base? Anyways, that was there for a while, and the sparring was a little more was better. But then I competed in the closed circuit through the IKA, JKA, and KOA system, which is the karate systems. All of International Karate Association.
Right.
Dr. Masao Okuyama was my head instructor. Zavonko Celebija was my other one. And then it was Kubota was their instructor prior. So yeah, I was ranked in I think first 86, 87, 88. I was ranked in the top 7-ish of Canada, in Ontario. So that was pretty good for a while. But eventually, it just got really tiresome with the politics.
Yes, yeah, it
really
tough.
takes you out of the art. Just these guys are fighting over money for this. I was just like.
And like like you said before, names of styles, and I trademark this, and this is this, and your teacher's not official. It's like, come on, man, I just want to train.
I want to learn. I was wanting to train. So it actually, during that time, I kind of left martial arts because at the same time, my dad put me in a black belt time frame for taekwondo, just to sharpen my kicks. So it was literally like. Boom, 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 kick, just the kicks. The instructor, because I kept using my hands, so he literally tied my hands behind my back and had to literally do everything, the exercises, the sparring, everything with just my legs, with my hands.
So you had to do taekwondo, is that what you're saying? The taekwondo?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, to fine-tune your kicks. Got you, okay.
Well, because the chambering system, how you chamber in karate and how you chamber in taekwondo are very different. And how you chamber with kung fu, because a lot of kung fu, there's not a lot of chambering, it's a lot of sweeping.
There's not. Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when I trained some kung fu too, so we're doing that. I said, and the taekwondo, especially coming out in the 80s, I mean, taekwondo is sweeping the nation all around the world, like, the Olympics. It was just like there was a taekwondo school in every corner of the street at that point. And karate was kind of going down a little bit in the street, but it didn't matter because that was my main art.
Right.
But there was something to say for the chambering of taekwondo. I mean, taekwondo chambering is. I mean,
it's different. I mean, some of those kicks are. When you pull them off, it's like, man, and they're beautiful to watch. And yeah, a high level taekwondo guy is, it's the reason why it's in the Olympics, right? So it's
Well, this guy Jisuk Lee, who he's worked on Warrior with me, and I've taken him to Halo, taken him to different shows.
Nice.
He was on the International Taekwondo Korean demonstration team, and I mean, this guy is amazing. Wait, you saw Warrior season 2, episode 6? The Mexican.
Yeah, absolutely. The tournament episode. Yes.
There was one Korean guy in there.
Okay.
That does a gainer with a landing with a side kick to the guy's throat.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, just try him getting close to the guy. With his kicks. And the thing is that, he's like 5'6" and like maybe $130.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he's
when he kicks me, like I'm 5'8", well, barely 5'8" now. I'm getting old. And I'm, I was at the time I was 220 pounds.
Right.
I mean,
and that guy's kicking you.
He's kicking me. Well, I'm sending me get 2-3 feet back. It's like. And he's not doing any roundup. He's just whack.
He's just going straight.
Yeah.
Well, remember, Bruce Lee was like 130, 135. And, so the power he could generate, right? So it's a good transition so how did you get now moving into movies and TV, transitioning from, just the martial arts world? How did that all happen?
I was dating a girl. Actually, I was some story. How old are you, Quasi?
I'm 51.
Okay, so you're younger than me.
Yep. I am? Oh, shit.
Yeah,
okay. I'm for sure I was older than you. Okay.
Do you remember the TV show Vanishing Son?
Yeah, Russell Wong. Yeah, Russell Wong. Yeah.
But when he is falsely accused of murder, he must run.
Okay, and then you remember the TV show Hercules?
Yeah, of course. Kevin Sorbo. Yeah. Venus, Hercules, all that time. Yeah.
Okay, so we're about the same age. So
Yeah.
Basically, they were playing this every other week. One week it was Vanishing Sun. The next week on the same channel, the same show would be Hercules.
Right. They would go back to back. I remember that. Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
So, but I was in Ontario at the time, and I had no idea. I was doing my pre-meds and I was going to get into medicine and stuff like that. So I moved to BC, Vancouver. I sold my car. I said, I'm moving. So I moved, and I didn't know anybody. I'm sitting in the airport going, what am I going to do now? But I'm sitting there, and I got a job working here, working there. But then I started working at a nightclub called the Purple Onion. And it was one of the big nightclubs there at the time. Okay. And I met these guys that were Ninja Turtles. Well, actually, I met this girl, and she owned her own agency. And she just said, hey, do you want to be my agency? I'm like, yeah, that's great. Why not? So I got into it. I got a commercial called Karate Fighters. It's a toys. You know, you put the toys on these sticks and you swivel the back end and they throw punches and kicks.
Oh, yeah.
It flies off. Yeah. So I was a tattoo there, and it was great. I was just looking at, I was one of those leads on the show, on the commercial. It was great. I had all these girls around me fussing over my hair. I had hair at the time. My hair. And my makeup. I had all these tattoo makeups on. So I was like, yeah, man, I like this. Then I got my check 2 weeks later. I'm like, okay, I got to be doing this.
Right. I was like, I got really get into this, right?
And then I was at the nightclub working, and I met these guys that were Ninja Turtles. TV series. And they said, hey, you should come and audition. I said, yeah. And I did. And I got the part. So then I just I continued with it. I finished my schooling. I'm a sports rehab massage therapist. Okay. I went that route because the Western medicine route is all about medicate and cut. It was like operate, medicate, operate. I'm like, I wanted a medium ground. And I didn't want to be like so in debt my student loans anymore.
Yeah, tell me about that. I hear you.
So I went into sports rehab massage therapy. I mean, it was still a heavy duty student loan, but anyways, that's in case things didn't work out for me in film. Okay. So like I was doing about a facility. I can train you because I was a personal trainer. I can beat the crap out of you. Right. And then I can fix you because I'm a sports rehab massage therapist. Like a one-stop shop, and film just took off. So I was a stuntman. Oh yeah, here we go back. So I'm a stuntman, and I'm getting one day I'm on set and I'm getting beaten up by Kevin Sorbo.
Right. Oh, crazy.
Andromeda. I'm like, man, what a fantastic. And then the next year, I was getting shot by Russell Wong on Romeo Must Die.
Oh yeah, I actually got a clip of that. I want to play for you. Yeah,
So
I love that movie. Yeah,
I was like, damn, this is like, was that foreshadowing or what? So it happened, and then it tailed me to being a stuntman. So next thing you know, and I met this guy, Nick Powell, and he was the stunt coordinator for Born Identity, Last Samurai, Braveheart. So he was a fight coordinator, Braveheart, Gladiator, who's a swords master. So, Nick's done some big things, and he took me under his wing. With some other guys, and Scott Nicholson was also really good to me as well. But Nick basically took me under his wing, took me around the world, and so that's why I work more around the world. Nice. I love traveling, and he took me to the Last Samurai. That was good.
Yeah, so I got a little clip. I got obviously your stunt reel. I checked out your website. It's just banging. I love it. I super love it. Let me put it up here because you got so many credits. The stuff that you do.
Is my reel?
Yeah, it's your reel. I'm gonna turn the volume down just a little bit so I don't get copywritten here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so just a lot of cool stuff on here, man. You talked about Romeo Must Die, though. So this movie, like, I got a real quick funny story for you. Well, funny, but kind of just, you're going to be like, damn. All right, so back in like 2000 when the movie was out, right? Jet Li came, Isaiah Washington, and Aaliyah. Rest in peace. I worked in a radio station at the time. They came to they came. They were pubbing the movie and everything. They had movie posters. All three of them signed it. I had a signed autograph picture from all three of them, and I was ran to my kung fu school afterwards. Like, hey, I got this poster. Everyone's looking at it, and Jet Li had signed it. Jet Li with his Mandarin name, and also Wong Fei Hong. So I was like on top of the world, and of course I get it framed and everything, and it goes with me everywhere. And I moved to Florida for a year, and then I framed it down there. Then I moved back to New York because that's where I'm originally from. Long story short, I had to move from New Jersey back to LA for a job, and I totally left the poster, and I was like,
oh, where did you leave it?
Exactly, dude. I left it at my old. I had to sell my old house and move out here, and somewhere in
call them back.
Yeah,
dude, that's Aaliyah. Aaliyah's on there, and Jet
I know. It broke my heart, man. It broke my heart. But Romeo must die here. Russell Wong. He was a badass in there, and he played the villain. What was it like working with Russell Wong?
Hair.
Yeah.
With hair.
Yeah. What was it like working with him?
It was, I was a day player on this, so I didn't actually work that much on it. I had a few days on the show.
Okay.
And I just cut. And it was good. He was a nice guy, but I worked with him on a couple other things. I forget. But he was really cool. He was really nice.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. He was really nice.
Was this your first movie, major movie?
What brings you down?
I don't remember if X versus Sever was first or if this was first.
That's why we're here.
So
we got a tip.
Probably.
Gotcha.
This is probably.
When?
Right. And like you said, this is where you can shower Russell Wong.
Because before it was all TVs I was working on. So, but then he comes outside here and he shoots me.
Yeah. Really cool movie. But yeah, anyway, like I said, I had that poster. I was like, and listen, hey, props to Isaiah Washington, but I really wanted it to keep it for obviously the Aaliyah signature, but then also, I got, Jet Li on their side of it. So what was it like working with Jet Li? Because it's
Jet Li was cool. You know what? He's very quiet. He's a chain smoker. So always smoking, but he doesn't really talk that much because his English is not that He's always friendly. When you sit at him, he always says hi. I worked with him again on War. With
okay. I remember that movie with Jason Statham, right?
Classic. It's incredible because we the guys would all put the fight together. Like Didi and all these guys were there, and Corey Ewan. Anyway, so they put this fight. It's like 184 beats. Most actors got to come in. They got to rehearse. He comes in. He's like, okay, let me see it. The guys do it once. He goes, okay, let me see it again. The guys do it twice with the whole fight, everything. He's like, okay, I got it. He steps in, he does the whole thing better. I'm like, holy crap! Like that's respect. The guy is phenomenal. He's a phenom.
I mean, he's a phenomenal martial arts Beijing team and all that. So like, he's been doing it since he was like, a super little kid. So his skills on screen, you totally get it. Now, some people have said though he hits a little hard, like on the stuntman side. I've heard that. I don't know. I
don't think so. I mean, he to get the full motion, he does it. He doesn't. I've never really seen him to go out and hit people hard. Donnie Yen does.
Yeah, Pugan Gachan.
I heard that too. Obviously, Steven Seagal and all that, but Jet Li, I didn't know. And the only reason I mentioned that because I met James Liu. You know James Liu, obviously, right? Yeah. So I met him out at Dragon Fest, and he told me a story about when he was on the set of Lethal Weapon 4. How I was like, Jet Li goes a little bit extra, but I think it was mainly because back then it was like he was just getting to America.
It was his first America thing.
Right.
Probably because I worked on War and I never even in China. I mean, his stunt double, one of his stunt double before was Ju Kun, who was his stunt double for Forgotten Kingdom. Anyways,
right?
Yeah, Ju Kun was in hits in the beginning part of it in 2014 before he jumped on an airplane that went missing, an MH370. But even Ju Kun was just like, no, Jet was always, he's very quiet.
Right.
Quiet. He does his thing. He might hit you sometimes by accident, but he doesn't ever intentionally try and hit you. No.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I'll play you this little story just so you know the context. When I asked him, James Lou, you know, and I like James Lou too, so, but you know, everybody's
dope, man.
different, man.
It was it's the one I fight Jet Li. Gives a little hard contact. So he's supposed to choke me out with the rock. I let him put that thing around me. And next thing I knew, I was looking up in the sky. So he choked me out. For real. You don't have to do that in movies because we can take it. You're a dead man! And he let me drop. My head was on a rooftop. I'm there, they're catching me up. I look across the room. I see Jet Li. And he just goes like this. I wanted to go beat his butt. So I'm not a Jet Li fan.
Yeah, so that was James's story. I said, but I thought maybe like you're saying, because you know that was his first American movie, and he's used to the Hong Kong stuff. And I've talked to Cynthia Rothrock also, and they're like, hey, they just go a little bit harder because they want the more of the realism. So I think maybe that's probably part of it.
I think they probably that also in China and stuff like that. They go a little bit harder, but it's expected that they'll go. But for I guess North American cinema, it's like that's too hard. But it's like. They got to show the reaction. I don't know. I mean, I've worked in China a few times on different shows, and they this last show I was on, and this director wanted my guy to fall. Maybe it was 25 feet, smash the side and smash the side again down. And I said, okay, hold on. If you don't want me to put wires on him, I got to pat him up and pat the walls. He goes, oh, back in the day, the real Asian stuntmen, they don't need wires. They just fall. And I was like, yes, but most of those guys are retired in their 30s, right? Because they're banged up. And so,
it's different.
It's a little bit different. But I mean, anyways, I think you're right. I think you're bang on. It was his first real showing in North America, and also everyone's also knows him as this guy. So turning it up a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what I think. And, like I said, when I talked to Cynthia Rothrock, she's like, it's kind of expected. You take the bumps and bruises and you get it real for the camera and all that, and everyone's friends at the end of the day.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so that's part one of this interview, guys. And then the second half, I know you guys are waiting for this. We're going to talk all things Warrior, the series.
So this sequence coming up right here is a oneer that he's dividing.
Yeah, so nice.
So this is all a oneer following here. We have guys underneath the camera running with mats, and the guys that fall down.
Will it get a season 4? Of course, everyone wants to know that. We'll talk about that and all the insider info on the amazing stunts that were done on the show. You guys want to be around for this one. It's coming up. Okay, guys, so follow me on all my socials. Stay up to date with everything that we've got going on with the channel. More coming up before the end of the year. I promise you, even bigger and better interviews. We've got more exclusive content on my Patreon, so you may want to link up with that. And don't forget to share the content, guys. That's how we grow. Let's go, especially in the new year. Come on.
All right.
Now, go ahead and check out this video over here so you can get even more Brett Chan content. And of course, stay safe. See you all in the next round and keep punching.